If you've been following this tournament, you can feel something isn't settled yet. It's not about who's leading. It's about how this final round might actually play out. Because right now, the biggest factor isn't form, it's the weather, and that could change everything before the winner is decided. We're heading into Sunday at the Cadillac Championship at Trump National Doral, and there's a real chance play could be delayed or even suspended. Forecasts are calling for afternoon thunderstorms, lightning risk, and unstable conditions across the course. And in golf, the moment lightning becomes a factor, play stops immediately. That part isn't negotiable. But the real issue isn't just safety, it's how this affects the competition itself. Right now, Cameron Young is leading at 13 under par. He's in control, but not comfortably. There's still a group behind him, including Jordan Spieth, sitting within reach. Under normal conditions, this would come down to execution over 18 holes. But if the weather hits at the wrong time, that structure disappears. Because this isn't just light rain. We're talking about conditions that can completely change how the course plays. Softer greens, slower surfaces, shifting winds. The Blue Monster becomes a different course depending on when you're on it. Early groups might get calm conditions and go low. Later groups could be dealing with wind, delays, and constant interruptions. That creates an imbalance. And that's where the debate inside the field starts. Some players, like Scottie Scheffler, would rather just play through it. From their perspective, it's better to go out as scheduled and deal with whatever happens. That mindset makes sense, especially for players who are comfortable in tough conditions. Scheffler, for example, thrives when precision matters and the course gets difficult. But the flip side is just as important. Delays don't just pause the round, they break rhythm. You cool off, come back hours later, and it doesn't feel like the same round anymore. At that point, it's not just about skill. It's about who adjusts fastest. And that's not always fair. Now the PGA Tour has a real decision to make. Do they start on time and risk multiple stoppages throughout the round? That could mean different groups playing under completely different conditions. Or do they delay things early, adjust tee times, maybe even push the finish to Monday, just to create a more consistent playing window? Neither option is clean, because if they go ahead as planned, the final groups could be hit hardest by the weather. That puts players like Cameron Young at a disadvantage despite leading the tournament. On the other hand, if they delay too much, now you're changing the rhythm of a final round entirely. Players have to reset mentally, sleep on it again, and come back in a different state. That can shift momentum just as much. And then there's the course itself. Doral is already demanding. Add soft greens and unpredictable wind, and it becomes less about aggressive play and more about control. That could help someone like Spieth, who is chasing and might benefit from a reset or better conditions. At the same time, it could hurt a leader who built momentum under a different setup. So no matter what decision is made, it's going to affect someone. From a fan perspective, this is where it gets complicated. Because yes, safety comes first. If lightning is in the area, play has to stop. That part isn't debatable. But beyond that, the goal should be simple. Keep the competition as fair as possible. That's where things get tricky. If different groups are playing in completely different conditions, then it stops being a level test. Early players might have an advantage. Later players might be forced to survive instead of compete. And suddenly, the result isn't just about who played the best golf. It's about timing. And that's not what you want in a final round like this. At the same time, delaying too much creates its own problems. A Monday finish changes everything. Players lose the natural pressure of a Sunday finish. Some come back sharper, others lose focus. It becomes a different kind of test. So the PGA Tour is balancing three things at once: safety, fairness, and flow. If you look at it practically, the best option might be a controlled delay early, trying to create the most consistent window possible for everyone. It won't be perfect, but it reduces the chances of the tournament splitting into two completely different conditions. Because the worst outcome isn't bad weather. It's a result that feels uneven. At the end of the day, this final round might not come down to who hits the best shots. It might come down to who handles the situation better. And those are the rounds that usually stay with people. Now I'm curious what you think. Should they delay it and try to control the conditions? Or let them play through it and deal with whatever happens? Let me know your take.